Did you know that we have an online membership platform with photographers from around the world? In our members area, we have marketing boot camps, baby certification, webinars, holiday guides, templates, and so much more. You'll not only meet with other like-minded photographers, but you'll also receive a discount to our store and other membership perks. Come visit us at AnnaBrandtMemberApp.com. Pricing is still always a hot topic among photographers around the world, whatever level you're on. And there seems to be a constant debate about whether you put your pricing online or you keep it offline and then qualify your client through consultations or in-person discussions to explain your self-worth and the value of your studio and your offerings. Do you agree or do you disagree?
You are listening to the Anna Brandt podcast for the year 2023. Anna Brandt has been a professional photographer for over 24 years and has taught worldwide in over 40 countries. She continues to educate in person and online while running a busy studio in Tustin, California. My Mom's podcast is all about educating and motivating the creative entrepreneur. My name is Ava Brandt, and I am happy to welcome you to the 5th season of My Mom's podcast channel. We hope you subscribe and stick around.
Hi, my name is Anna Brandt, and it's been a while since I've done a podcast, and I will admit I'm slightly under the weather, so my voice isn't what it normally is. Why has it been a while since I've done a podcast? Well, I've really just been super busy. No other reason than that. And we wanted to try to deliver them a little bit sooner than later, but here we are. I think the point is that we have a new podcast. One of the things I'm going to talk about, I feel like I've talked about so many times, but again, I need to talk about it in a different way. Because I am 24 years in the business. Next year marks my 25th year. And there's a lot of things that I've learned that have worked and don't work. One of the things that I do know is it's my business, just like it's your business. And I mean that in every sense of the word, meaning whatever you choose to do with your pricing, your programs, however show your offerings to your clients, that's your business. And it's really nobody else's. But people want advice, right? Do I put my pricing on my website? Do I not put it on my website? Whenever I talk about this in my private photographers group, I'd say lately it's definitely changed where a lot of people are like, yes, my prices are there. They're transparent. My clients love it. And then there's still that percentage of like, no, not really. I want to talk to them. I want to, make sure that they understand what they're getting for the price. I want to make sure I explain the whole process. And that's okay. There's really no wrong answer. I think one of the points that I really want to get across is when you decide to do something for your business, that's your choice. My advice as a business owner would be to do something and then try it. And if it's not working for whatever the reason, change it. Too many times, new photographers will make, a judgment call based on just what someone told them to do. If you're asking me for advice, I'm going to tell you what works for me and what I've found works for my clientele. That may not work for your clientele. And so when I'm teaching, I don't always say, oh, do it this way, or there's no other way to do it, because I don't agree with that's how businesses are run. Every business is different, and we all have different clientele. We're in different areas, different parts of the world, different countries even. And so there's no one answer fits all. And I think that's with many things in photography. It's not like you have to have this camera or this light or this camera strap, depending upon who you learn from and what photographers have trained or mentored you, it's going to depend what you're going to use. I think what you have to do, whether you're starting out or you're a seasoned photographer, is take little bits of pieces, learn as much as you can, listen to as many different podcasts as you can from as many different people, read different books, take workshops from different people. And then what you're going to do is take little pieces of nuggets of wisdom from each person, each author, teacher, mentor, so that you can mold and shape the business yourself. over the years, I've done many, many, many different things. I remember that over 10 years ago, there was a time where I didn't have my pricing on my website, and I had an assistant and she was full-time. And she would tell me, "Oh, Anna, will you please put your pricing on the website again?" Because every phone call is, "Can you tell me about your pricing? How much is an 8x10?" People weren't even buying 8x10s, but yet that was kind of their, factor, I guess, when they were just determining if they could afford you, is how much your 8x10 was. I don't know why. That was like always the question. And she would get so tired of answering the same question over and over and over again, only to be told, "Well, let me talk to my husband. Let me get back to you. Let me think on it." Now, that same client or potential client may be emailing or calling 10 other photographers. There were times that we would get bookings only because we were one of the few studios that answered the phone. They would say that they've called other photographers, but the other photographers haven't answered their phone. They would say they've emailed other photographers and the other photographers haven't emailed them back. So sometimes you may get a booking on the sheer fact that you're responsive. Now, I don't always answer the phone. In fact, many times I don't, because I'm in the studio and I have visual voicemail, so I can see the voicemail coming to me, but I try to be as responsive as I can to my clients. They know I'm very busy and I respond when I can. But we're also in the world of email and spam, and a lot of things go to junk. I find that quite often when an inquiry comes in and I respond right away, then I don't hear anything. If I don't ask again, sure enough, that client will say, "Hey, did you not respond to my inquiry?" And I'll be like, "I did. I responded like right away," and it went to spam. So that is definitely a common thing, is to check the junk, check the spam, be proactive in the communication method. But let's get back to pricing. So she would just say, "Anna, just please put your pricing back on, because this way I don't have to answer so many questions." And so when we did put the pricing back on, what happened is basically all of the calls that we would get, and still kind of get now, are people calling to book. My pricing is on my website. There's no secret. And to me, I want my clients to be comfortable in knowing how much I charge and being able to go to the website, seeing if they can afford me, seeing what the options are, discussing it with their partners, so that by the time they come to me, they're already fully prepared because they've already gone through everything. And I think that's super important for my clientele. Most of the times now, when I receive the client call or the email, it's ready to book their session. I even have the ability for clients to go online and purchase their session. So sometimes I'll see a session purchase come in through, and then the client will follow up and say, "I just purchased my session. How do I book?" I love those clients. They're fully prepared. They've done the research. They see the investment and they call and they book it and they take care of it. And it's just fantastic. I would love to, have more clients that do that. I think it's great. That's what works for me. Now, for you, that may not work for you. For you, you may say, "Well, Anna, I need to meet with the client. I need to talk to them. I need to explain the value, explain my pricing, and I need to do all of this to make sure that I know their budget, and back and forth, and that's how I book my client." And that's fine. I will tell you that when you don't have any of your pricing on your website, you may lose clients because of that. It's just a fact. I've talked to clients, I've talked to potential clients, I've talked to models, I've talked to friends, and many of the times they say that if they don't see the pricing, that tells them it's probably too expensive, out of their budget, and they will just leave the site and not even bother filling out the form. Other people say that when they do fill out the form, they don't get an immediate response, and by the time they do, they've already moved on to another photographer. Sometimes people say that they feel that when the pricing isn't shown, that the photographer isn't being honest, that already that means that the photographer is going to try to do a hard sale and make them spend more than they're comfortable with and make them spend out of their budget. And so they don't want to release that power. And so they think, well, if I don't see the pricing, now I've got to get on the phone. They're going to try to convince me I'm going to overspend and I'm not going to be comfortable. So if they're already starting with that feeling, chances are they're not going to book. Now, you may completely disagree with me. You may say, Anna, no, I don't have my pricing on my website, but my clients email and I send them a PDF and we talk and I have a great booking rate and everything's great. If that's you, fine. This doesn't apply to you. That means whatever you're doing is working. This may apply to the people that go, well, I don't have a lot of time for consultations. I don't have a lot of time. I send them my price list and then they ghost me. Why do they ghost you? Because they probably also got a price list from 5 other people and now they're weighing the options and they're trying to figure out who to go. And so you've got that feeling that they've ghosted you when you may not be the photographer for them. But you won't have that feeling if the pricing was on your website. They went to it, saw it, and then felt that you weren't the photographer for them. You wouldn't know any better because they went and booked with somebody else, right? So I think you have to think about a few things. First of all, how much time do you have? Do you have time to be on the phone explaining to your clients your pricing and handling the booking? Do you have time to meet with them in person? If not, do you have an assistant or associate or somebody that can do that for you? And if the answer is no, then you may want to look into possibly putting your pricing on your website. Honestly, I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, why is this such a big deal? If all photographers put their pricing on the website, what would be such a big deal about that? I mean, I think it would be kind of cool because then clients or potential clients can go to your site, look at your work, read about you and decide, oh, that's the photographer for me. Let me call them, let me email them and learn a little bit more about them so that I can book. Instead, we just play this constant little game of back and forth email inquiries, hoping they'll respond to you, playing phone tag, email tag. I just don't see what the big deal is. I really don't. And I've, attended all the big trade shows and spoken them myself. And I love when I can go to a website, any business, I can see the price, even better if I can book it online. But if I have to call them and find out the price, they're going to lose me as a customer. I just don't have that kind of time. I just don't. And so for me personally, I find vendors that I can buy online, that I could book online because I'm busy and I need to just move things along. And my clients are very similar as well. Now, that doesn't mean I never talk on the phone. Many times I do. And many times my clients have questions. I get DMs all the time. I have questions about your pricing. I have questions about this or that. That's fine. I can answer those questions all day long. But I think transparency for me in my business is fine. I also know that a lot of photographers will say, well, if I have my pricing on my website, then all of the other photographers are just going to look me up and compare the pricing and try to compete with me. Who cares? Like, if hopefully your pricing is high enough that maybe they'll then raise their pricing. How fun would that be? I mean, photographers are always complaining that other photographers are being too cheap. And so why not? Let's just level up everybody. Why not everybody just be transparent, put their pricing on their website, and then the newer, younger photographers that don't know any better are undercharging, go and see what the market will bear, and they have something to base it off of. I mean, honestly, your pricing should be based off of your cost of doing business, right? We know that. And that will vary versus someone in the home and versus someone in a studio. And then there is, the idea of what the market will bear. And so people get super frustrated when younger, newer, cheaper photographers are coming out and charging next to nothing because they know that they're not profitable. And clients will then, of course, book the cheaper photographer, and that photographer is not making any money because they've priced themselves super, super dirt cheap. It's upsetting the other photographers because they're saying there's no way that they can do that photo session for $50 because it's going to cost them, more than that to do the session. But that's not really your business, is it? That's not really your business. It's just not. It's really no one else's business what you charge. I don't care if other photographers look at my pricing and say I'm too little or should be more, or I'm too lot, should be less. I don't really care. That's all irrelevant to me and my business. My pricing and my clients is between my pricing of my clients. And if they choose to hire me at the prices that I've put out, great. Now, I don't have every single price on my website. There's a lot that I don't have on. I do work with celebrities and I do have special situations, and I keep that information private. And I don't think everything has to be out on the website. But I do think that as a business owner, there's a few things that I'd like to see happen. Number one, stop trying to get approval from other photographers for what you're doing. I see that a lot on social media. They post it in a group and they want approval. They want everybody to say, yes, this is the right thing to do. And yes, you got it. But there's never going to be that from everybody. There might be somebody that says, yes, you got it. You're doing it. And then there might be somebody else going, no, why are you doing it that way? Do it my way. So you're going to get people that agree and disagree with you anyway. So why don't we just stop looking for approval? It's okay to get advice, but then just move on and just let's all act like grown-ups and business owners and just make our own business decision. I don't go to anybody for permission to do what I'm doing. I decide to do something, whether it's a pricing or a package. I test the market, see if it works, and then I make a judgment call to keep it or to change it. And that's it. Yes, I may talk to, employees or staff and say, what do you think about this? Or I should adjust this. But overall, I'm the one making the final call. I'm the one choosing to put my pricing on my website. I'm the one choosing to decide when I can talk to my clients and book them. And I'm handling all of that. And I really don't go to social media to look for the popular opinion. Now, you may buy an IPS course or a course that someone will tell you how to sell, and they're going to say, this is how you should do it. And then you may do it and it may work and it may not work. For every person that sells an IPS course or a course on selling, there'll be people that says, yes, it worked. It was great. I earned triple the money. And then there's other people going, well, it didn't really do anything for me. Because there's no one answer for everything. We can't sit here and go, okay, as photographers, we should all charge this. As photographers, this is what we should put on the website. As photographers, this is how many images we should show. I think that your website should be your home. It should be your home base. You should have your family photo up there, your location, a phone number, an email, a contact form, your latest work. So many people don't even have that when I go to their websites. I don't even know what state they're in, let alone trying to find out a price. So you have to understand that not everybody is coming from one source. You may be people coming from Instagram, coming from Facebook, coming from Google, wherever, but where are they all going? They may be going to hopefully your website, and hopefully that's where they're gaining their information. And that should have all the information they need for them to make an executive decision to hire you or not. But so many times there are things lacking. Whenever I mentor photographers, I'll look at their Instagram and I'll look at their Facebook and their LinkedIn and Pinterest. Yes, Pinterest and LinkedIn, which half of you are still not posting to. And then go to their website, and the website, the photo is outdated. There's no contact information. It's just on and on and on. You should sit down today, right this moment when you're listening to this podcast, and take a look at your presence online as a whole. And pretend you're a new client that is looking you up and they want to book you. What do they see? When they go to your website, what do they see? Do they see a phone number? Do they see an email address? Do they see a photo of you? Do they know the location of you? Do they have any kind of idea how much you charge? And if they don't, how can they find out right now? Because what if they have an urgent booking? Are there updated links to your social media pages? And if I go to those corresponding social media pages, are they all up to date with the latest information? That's what we need to do. We need to do a little due diligence, a little cleanup, a little housework, and then make sure all of that is in line together, and then say, okay, I'm going to have, a board meeting with myself. Call your children in, sit down, talk to people you trust, whatever you need to do, have a private meeting for one, and sit down and say, we're going into the year 2024. What do I want to do? What do I want my brand to show? Do I want people to call me, contact me, email me, stop in my shop? How do they price me? How do they find out pricing? How do they book me? How does all this happen? And am I comfortable with the process? And is it working? Because ideally, you want a 98% booking rate. That's what you want. You want when someone calls you or someone emails you, they say, hi, I love your work. You were referred by fill in the blank. I am booking this session. When's your next available appointment? That's what you want. That's what I have from the majority of my clients. And that's my hope for you. whether you decide to put your pricing for the world to see or you want to still keep it under wraps and talk to the client yourself. Again, your business. At the end of the day, you need to do what's working for you. And if something's not working, don't be afraid to change it, because that's the name of the game in the business. We've got to grow and learn and make changes along the way. And hopefully it'll groom us into be the most amazing business owner we can be. Hopefully something I said in this podcast will resonate with you, and hopefully it'll help you. That's always my wish. You guys have been around a long time, and my wish is that any little tiny bits of words of wisdom that I can pass on to you, I try to do it. I'm here learning and growing, and just like you, hopefully we can all go into this next year and just become even more amazing than we were last year. I'm Anna Brandt. Thanks for listening.